Good morning. This is hopefully the only video that you will ever need to help you understand how to classify quadrilaterals. Okay, so quadrilaterals, 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can call quadrilaterals different things. Now, this is a parallelogram. Almost all of the quadrilaterals you will see have a base in this. It's a parallelogram. It's like saying, what kind of dog do you have? Oh, I have a spaniel. Well, what kind of spaniel? A cocker spaniel, a Springer spaniel, all of these things. So for a parallelogram, you're looking at quadrilaterals where the opposite sides are parallel to each other. All right, so the opposite sides are parallel to each other, and then the opposite angles are equal or congruent. See that? They've got the tick marks. And the opposite sides are congruent, like this side and this side and this side and this side. All right, if we look here, this is a special type of parallelogram. It's a parallelogram because its opposite sides are parallel, its opposite sides are equal, its opposite angles are equal. And anytime you have a parallelogram with 4 right angles, you have a rectangle. So a rectangle is a special type of parallelogram. Now, even more special, oh, never mind. This is a type, okay, so we've got a parallelogram here. Its opposite sides are parallel, okay? And its opposite sides are congruent. Now, it doesn't say anything about the angles, but if you look carefully, these 2 angles are the same, and these 2 angles are the same. This right here is called a rhombus. It's spelled like rhombus. Okay, a rhombus is a really special type of parallelogram that has 4 congruent sides. It doesn't matter about the angles. As long as it has 4 congruent sides, as all the sides are the same size, it is a rhombus. Okay, looking here. This is a parallelogram. It's a rectangle. It's a rhombus. It is all of these things and more. When you have a parallelogram with 4 congruent sides and 4 right angles, you have a square. So this, if you've ever heard this saying, every square is a rectangle, but not every rectangle is a square, this is where it comes from. Because a rectangle is just a parallelogram with 4 right angles. A square has 4 right angles, but a square, all the sides have to be the same. Okay? All right, cool. Now, the last one we're going to talk about is a trapezoid. The trapezoid only has one pair of opposite sides that are parallel. So usually it's the bases like this. These 2 sides are not parallel. I'm going to draw right here another example of a trapezoid that a lot of people don't know is a trapezoid. Okay, trapezoids can also look like this. So see here, these are parallel and these are not parallel. Even though that's a 90-degree angle, this is still an example of a trapezoid. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to classify these things because you're going to have to name them by all of their different names. Here we go. Squares are a special type of rectangle and a type of rhombus. Okay, so we're going to give all the names that describe each of these things. So you need to give all of its names and then you're going to give it the best name, as in like what's the name that it should be called at the end. All right, so right here, this is a parallelogram. All right, it's a parallelogram. Its sides are parallel. Now, if we look here, it has 4 right angles, which means that it is also a rectangle. And in the end, the rectangle, I'm going to circle it. Rectangle is the best name for this. That's what we would call it. Okay, let's look over at this guy. All right, well, it only has 1 pair of parallel sides. So it's not any type of parallelogram. It's a trapezoid. And guess what? That's its best name. It's just a trapezoid. All right, looking here. All right, I've got a parallelogram. And I'm noticing that it does not have any right angles. Its opposite sides are equal, which tells me again it's a parallelogram, but that's about it. It's just a parallelogram, so that's the best name for it. Looking here, all right, so all of the sides, well, first of all, it's parallelogram. It is a parallelogram. All right, and if I look, it has right angles, which means it's also a rectangle. And it's okay, so all of its sides are the same size, which means it's a rhombus. And then because it has right angles and all the sides are the same, it's a square. This is all of these things. You're just getting more and more specific, okay? You're getting more and more specific. It's like saying, oh my gosh, did you see that girl the other day? And you're like, okay, can you please be more specific? All right, she was a girl, she was tall, she had brown hair, and she was wearing a dress. Okay, so all these things very, very specific. And we're gonna circle square because square is the best name for this. All right, so we're not gonna draw these things, but we are be expected. I would love, love, love for people to do more drawing with their toolkits. But this is the main thing that you're gonna want to use for your homework.